This is Adam Smith's 293rd birthday. He's best known as the author of The Wealth of Nations, which I have to say is a very long and boring book. You'd be much better to read my own condensed Wealth of Nations, which is shorter and funnier. Smith was a typical absent-minded professor. He once put bread and butter into the teapot instead of tea. He was puzzling about some economic issue and walked 10 miles to Dunfermline, the next village, in his dressing gown until he realised where he was. And he famously fell into a tanning pit because he didn't look where he was going. That's when he was showing round the Duke of Buccleuch. His stepfather, the Duke of Buccleuch's stepfather, had read a book by Adam Smith called The Theory of Moral Sentiments and was so impressed that he got Smith to tutor his stepson, the Duke of Buccleuch, and to take him on the Grand Tour of Europe. And it was while he was on the Grand Tour of Europe that he was able to talk with many of the leading economists and philosophers on the continent and to find out how life was lived on the continent. And he picked up a huge amount of information and started writing a book, which was called The Wealth of Nations. As I say, it's very long and sometimes there's just too much detail in it. But when you look at all of the great books of the world, the Bible, Newton, Darwin's Origin of Species, somewhere in that collection you have to include The Wealth of Nations, one of the most influential books of all time. Happy birthday, Adam Smith.